Welcome back to the Confidence to Close training series and navigating your first sale as a digital agency. My name is Jeff Schwartz. I'll be the presenter, Jeff Hershey, if you will, for the remainder of this series. Obviously, you've been watching some of the videos and we're going through. I may sound a little bit different on this recording because my microphone broke about an hour ago. So as we went through and we're doing this live and we're teaching it, it's going to sound a little bit different. But again, little hurdles and things that you got in life, you just got to keep pressing and go through. So with that being said, let's jump into why people buy. And before we talk about the top sales triggers and reasons why people buy from you, I want you guys to write a question down and ask yourself this. Am I truly helping or am I hurting them? Because every single time you're building out a sales process or you're writing, what questions you're going to ask and what sales triggers you're going to, be for this company or person that you're closing the deal with, you must know with absolute conviction the answer to that question that you're helping them and you're not hurting them. And what I mean by this is, am I helping them? Is this? Am I going to be able to make them more money, generate more leads, drive more traffic, make them happier, etc., whatever it is that I'm promising as a result? And I'm hurting them if I'm just pulling money out of their pocket and selling them some hope that my product or service may work for them. We see this a lot in the marketing community, things like that. You have to wonder, is somebody actually truly helping you or they actually out to just hurt you to pull money from your pocket? So when you're doing this with your clients and you're doing this consulting, you got to think about that for yourself. And, let's talk about some top sales triggers and talking about ownership in particular. This is the first trigger. The first trigger consists of having deep involvement and ownership in your product, your service, and your overall processes. And this is where your confidence and expertise are used in persuasion. But the sense of ownership goes both ways and also applies to the businesses or person you're selling to. Another benefit of the ownership trigger can be seen in the strong sense of community a program has. So similar to like a CrossFit or P90X, you see that people are just rabid fans about these. These are two popular yet distinctively different groups that both strongly highlight working positively with others in the program, which creates a heightened sense of camaraderie. And if you're involved in one of those groups, you must take ownership of your overall progress to be part of that community. And they've been highly effective in incorporating a sense of ownership and use it as a sales trigger, leveraging people's desire to be part of something bigger than themselves. And if you don't believe in your product and you're not honest when discussing your offer to a potential client or customer, that will come across in your conversation as one of those sales triggers. You need to have honesty, right? There's a reason nearly everyone thinks the used car salesman is out to get them. They don't believe that they're going to be honest with them. And when you're engaging in sales conversations and the prospects asks you, can you do blank for me or my business, and you can't, you have to be upfront and tell them. You're not just trying to sell, you have to be upfront and tell them. You need to make them aware upfront before you do business by setting the appropriate expectations. Let them know if it's not possible and explain the why, or let them know that you don't do that as part of your packages and your services, and really just explain the why behind it. And even if it's, hey, we offer this because we're really good at generating leads with our widget that goes on your website, we don't handle SEO or we don't do this, right? Make sure they understand the why. And let's talk a little bit about integrity. And integrity is adhering to a moral code that is transparent in its honesty and displays a harmony between what someone says and what they do, right? It's what you do when no one else is looking is what a lot of people define integrity as. And when you lack integrity in the way you conduct business and are not willing to clearly explain and stand behind what you can and can't do, trust is going to be lost there. Likewise, if you cannot admit that you messed up and aren't able to get the results that you promised, trust is lost. In these scenarios, your prospect may feel your lack of integrity personally, or that you lack integrity personally, or at least with regards to your business dealings and likely won't work with you again. They will seek out alternative options. As a matter of fact, there was an agency that I saw post online about a month or two ago where they weren't able to get the results that they had promised. They literally just refunded that company their money and was able to maintain their integrity of where they were going, which is really an interesting angle to have seen that. They basically fired themselves before the clients could, but they knew they had integrity to say that we can't deliver what we promised you on, and we're unable to do that, which was really cool. I don't remember where I saw or who it was, but it was on a Facebook group. I thought it was really cool. And then another sales trigger I use to validate my integrity with a prospect is credibility. You'll find that if other people have experienced incredible value in your services and you have proof of the results that you've achieved, your prospects feel that you have a credible offer, right? It's a testimonial. It's somebody saying that you've gotten them X results with product Y. This social proof is viewed as an authority when demonstrating what others have gained by trusting you with their investment. They can see and feel the value you're offering, lowering the barrier for them to get involved with you. And once you show proof of your value, you become a credible source that has earned their trust, and you've lowered or completely removed one of the biggest barriers to the sale. Now, an innate human trigger that's been with us since the dawn of man and that still is a powerful motivator is greed, right? Whether they're willing to admit it publicly or not, everybody wants a bit more or something a little bit better, a better lifestyle, a higher income, a greater success in their business, higher conversion rate, more leads, more sales. They want to be ranked number one. That's why people sell ranked number one on first page of Google, right? You can easily appeal to those powerful wants by framing your conversation around getting prospects the results they want faster with less personal sacrifice. For example, let's say we take 15 to 20% of the budget that you're spending right now. How hard do you think I'm going to work to earn that larger percentage of your budget by ensuring you see astonishing results and more or increased revenue in your business and more leads? And by the way, I may be able to achieve better results than you are currently experienced with a smaller overall budget. How does that sound to you, right? That's a great quote that you can use. Let's say, or a great sentence you can use, memorize this, especially if you're doing one-on-one digital presentations. A great way to reposition is, let's say that we take only 15 to 20% of the budget that you're spending right now. How hard do you think I'm going to work to earn a large percentage of your budget by ensuring you see astonishing results and more increased revenue? By the way, I may be able to achieve better results than you currently are experiencing with a smaller overall budget. How does that sound to you? It sounds appealing, right? Somebody's going to say, well, tell me more, right? You want them to get that micro commitment. Tell me more. Let's also talk ROI as a second example and what they lose not using your service. This works because they envision less money coming out of their pocket, earning more, and the greed trigger is being fed as they imagine what they can do with this newfound revenue. Fads are also the latest and greatest things out there that everyone wants to talk about. So let's talk about the top sales trigger of fads. As an example, social media is ever evolving, and there's always some new fads, some new app that is hot right now. Remember when it was all about like Facebook and then MySpace, and then Facebook, and then Twitter, and then Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all those things start to take over, right? A local business owner may not need to know everything about social media, but they will appreciate it if you can leverage the latest technologies properly and the channels of those fads to help them do better as a business to generate more leads and more sales. You can allocate just one little piece of the current relevant fad to enhance, not change, what you're going to discuss in your overall sales process, so they can see that you are providing the latest and greatest tools and utilizing new technologies. Now, some of it may be too cutting edge for a lot of business owners, so you stay with the tried and true. depending on what's out there, right? You know what's working with most business owners, and because of the 80-20 rule, you're going to be listening to what they're telling you they feel is important for their business. Let's talk a little bit about timing, consistency, and repetition. Now, it can be difficult sometimes for you as the person working, too close to the sale to determine if right now is a good time for your prospect. You may get a lot of pushback to the tune of, this isn't a good time. In business, just like your personal life, sometimes it just comes down to luck and good timing. A local business owner may not need to know everything about social media, but they will appreciate, as you're building them out and working with them, right? So as you're allocating those little things like we just talked about, the consistency and repetition are going to come in. Now, timing can be a life changer for you, and you won't know when the time is right unless you reach out and test the water. So keep making those contacts and touches as often as you can until the prospect that this is the right time for it tells you that it is the right time. And in most cases, people talk about, you could be 4 to 7 touches before you can actually find the right time, and you're in front of them enough where it is the right time for them to make that buying decisions. And that's where that consistency and repetition comes in, right? Continue to make regular touches with your prospects and clients via cold calls, warm calls, direct mail pieces, content, and emails with congruent messaging over time. They might not be in a position to buy today, right now. And many people aren't driven to action until the pain becomes great enough for them to do something about it. For example, if they just had a 1-star review posted about their business online and it's on Yelp and they're panicking, they're going to be calling somebody to help them fix that or help reverse that or make it go away. But don't expect every lead to buy right away. They're going to need a few touches to convert into a sale. Continue to adhere to your message remaining congruent, and that will continue to build your credibility and ensure that your prospects see the value you provide through that consistency, demonstrating your capabilities, proving you are who you say you are, and you can do what you say you can do. Now let's talk about urgency. Behavioral psychologists have said that when put in urgent situations, most people suspend deliberate thought and act quickly. They act off of emotion. And when you create a sense of urgency to make a decision, your persuasiveness is enhanced because you've introduced the fear of missing out simply because the offer will disappear soon. So you created scarcity and you now introduced urgency into the situation. And when you utilize these tactics to enforce a sense of urgency, like a countdown timer or number of quantity of units or time, competition, you're going to sell it, you're going to basically go to their top competitor. That then introduces things like fear of loss or fear of pain or fear of missing out. When we offer a website package to a client, we often introduce urgency this way. We'll tell them, hey, our normal package or normal website package that fits perfectly for a company like yours is $2,000. Plus, we offer a deluxe website package with some additional features. So we can get you in at the $2,000 level, but if you decide to get started today, right now, while I'm still here, I'm authorized to offer you the next deluxe level at a discounted rate of $1,500, adding in these special features at zero additional cost, saving you X amount of dollars. However, after I leave today, you will still be able to do the standard website, and it's going to work amazingly for you, but it will be at the $2,000 price and without the deluxe bonus features and upgrades that we are giving to you. Are you ready to get started right now? Or will that be Visa, MasterCard, or American Express? So those are the ways that we set up some urgency. There's also a company here in town where they basically force both the husband and the wife, if they're married, or the couple, if you will, to be at the appointment for a home services business. And they basically say at the time, our rep is going to come out and we're going to do some floor samples and things like that. We're going to have a gift card for you or a special coupon that if you guys make a decision on the spot, it will save you, 5, 10, 15% or whatever. It's a specific, number amount. And they basically go to about a 40 to 50% close rate because when they do that and they know that the person's there, they have a sense of urgency where they have a fear of loss, that discount, that deal is going away, and they have both decision makers sitting there at that appointment. So adding a benefit and urgency to make a decision on the spot cuts out a large part of the friction and pushback on a sale that is often caused by a prospect thinking too hard and too long and not becoming responsive. So by raising the level of urgency, you reward customers that act quickly. We reward action takers. Help create the reaction you want with a statement like, hey, we're going to be closing the door on this offer. We can only allow 10 more people in at this price, or we only offer this during our live in-person consultations because it takes a lot of time and effort and money to put our people on the road to meet you or for me to come to your office. So I want to make sure that you are somebody I want to work with, that you're a decision maker. So we're going to reward you by being that decision maker in this scenario. Now, when it comes to instant gratification, when you can give your prospects and customers something that is instantly available, something that they can tangibly work with right away, instant gratification leads to wanting even more gratification. This moves them forward in your business, and that's where a lot of these sales triggers come in, right? I want it now. I don't want to miss out on this advantage. I don't know this amazing thing. I didn't know this amazing thing existed until just this minute, but now I can't live without it, right? How many times you guys ad it on TV? You didn't know it existed 30 seconds ago, but now you can't go on unless you order it, right? It happens a lot, and that's great marketing. Think about how oversaturated we are here in the United States with just iPads and iPhones today. Over half of all homes have at least one Apple device in it because people were persuaded that they wanted them, that they had to have them. And now they can't live without them and simply won't wait another day to have the latest one, right? The one you have works fine, but you need to have that next thing. They rush out to get the newest, the latest, and the greatest product. It's a desire for instant gratification and to be part of that group that has the latest and greatest. They're on the leading edge of this. So it's a desire for instant gratification that if it's within their means, they're going to have it. They will satisfy and get that gratification. Now, when it comes to exclusivity, I personally like to use the exclusivity trigger as a highly effective part of the sales process when working with a high value monthly retainer type client by making it clear that I can only work with a small number of clients in a specific vertical or local area. Another factor to highlight that helps stress the exclusivity of our service is to point out that I only work with a certain number of clients at one time because we don't want to overburden ourselves at the sacrifice of our high value service. So be very clear at emphasizing that you only have so much time, a limited number of spots to fill, or a certain amount of people that you're able to work with. Like some agencies don't get bigger than 15 to 25 businesses in a specific niche they work because they're exclusive and they're a boutique and they can only handle that and provide the quality of work that they need to deliver their specific clients, the retainer level that they're retaining them at. And when you tie exclusivity to your product or service, you encourage the feeling of being special, a chosen one, if you will, and belonging to an elite group, or just attract people who can benefit from working with you. And to do all this, you need to have clear and easy to understand messaging. If your audience does not understand what product or service you're selling, because you're selling the Swiss Army knife, then they're not going to be able to find a reason to support buying it. I urge you to write down what you offer in 1 or 2 concise sentences and memorize it. It's your elevator pitch, right? This is much like the elevator pitch you've probably heard, something that sums up what you're all about in 15 to 20 seconds, and basically that's the length of your common elevator ride. You can talk about anything in 15 to 20 seconds, but if the person or business owner can't understand it, you won't even get in the door to start the sales process. And remember, it's how it benefits them, what you can do in 1 or 2 seconds that they benefit from. Break down the message into a very simple manner that emphasizes that benefit to them. We work with business owners to generate leads on their website and talk to those hot leads directly from your mobile devices of you or your sales agents. We turn those positive responders into new deals, and we find the most impactful leads for you. And I can show you in a few moments how we can do that, right? We generate new leads off your website from your most recent or your hottest website visitors and start a communication with them. So you can figure out what that means specifically to you and your agency and your business, but have that down in 1 or 2 sentences. You build trust with a prospect when you're able to clearly present a cure to their specific pain point. No one wants to go out and buy car insurance or acids or see a doctor. It's not sexy. It's not attractive. It's not fun. But when you sell a cure to their current problem or pain, you become the solution. So in summary, people don't move naturally towards a path of pleasure, no matter how great the pain is, right? It's always the fact that they truly do want to move away from the pain or the negative factors. So your job is to help them find out where those bad things are and navigate and help them down the path away from pain or fear. By understanding the real reason why they're going to buy your products or services, you can use the proper sales triggers. So ask yourself, am I helping them or am I hurting them? And if you can honestly answer yes and articulate how you're adding value, you will be able to figure out and use the most influential sales triggers in helping your potential clients. So let's jump into micro commands and future pacing now in the next chapter of this, because now we get to discuss one of my favorite subjects, which also happens to be one of the best parts of the Confidence to Close training. And micro commands and future paces are what I'm talking about. With future pacing, you're making 4 projections to move someone down the road away from pain and towards pleasure. You're consistently working through those pain triggers and moving the prospect towards a positive solution. Now, it's our job to show them what could be, helping them enlighten themselves to a solution and making the purchasing decision for themselves. We do that through what I like to call prophesizing, which is proving the future in advance through the use of embedded microcommands. With prophesizing, we use 4 projections. 4 is the magic number. If 3 things make a belief, if 3 people say it, it makes it true, then the 4th solidifies that belief. So the concept of pacing is where you learn how to prove the future in advance. Whether you're preparing for a marketing presentation, sales call, or online webinar, you'll pull invaluable examples for this section that I've personally used demonstrating how successfully you really can be using your Confidence to Close training. If you can nudge them just a little bit, they will follow you almost anywhere that you desire them to go, because you're now showing them positive proof and belief through the sales process. And once you know your desired outcome, the key is building that rapport and using the 80-20 rule, which is part of the sales equation, which we discussed earlier. The fastest way to accomplish this is through pacing and leading while utilizing those highly targeted questions. So here's how pacing works. You share 3 things that are automatically true in their business to get those micro commitments using your micro commands. So share 3 things you know that they are going to say yes to, and then immediately give them something you like to hear in the direction of which is the micro command, right? This is how the interaction might look for me. So you believe that people worry about what others are saying about your business online. They're interested in what online social proof is going to have on your business, right? And they're going to say yes, right? They understand that people worry about what's being said of their business. Okay, so you need to make sure that your business is properly listed online, right? Yep. If people care about ratings and reviews and your business needs to be listed properly online, the best way for us to do this is to get ratings and reviews from your current customers, right? Yeah, absolutely. Right. Right. So what we really need to be doing right now is getting more positive reviews online from your current customers to improve your ratings and have a strong online presence. Getting more business is the whole reason we're doing this, right? Yeah, correct. So what I'm doing here is I'm prophesizing getting more customers. I've embedded micro commands with we are doing this. Used my triggers, fear of loss of business to their competitors or somebody that bounces off their website or their listing I've got my micro commands, yes, yep, and right, and instill truth with those 4 beliefs. And you can use that for lead generation as well, right? You believe that people are on your website because they want to learn more about your business, right? Well, yeah. Okay, so we need to make sure that somebody that's on your website that's looking for you right now has a way to communicate with you at the moment they're looking for you, right? Yep. So if people are on your website and they're looking for you and your business needs to have a way to communicate with them, the best way would probably be the method that they feel is easiest for them, correct? Yeah, right? Right. So what we really need to do is have a way for them to communicate with you directly on their cell phone via text message, because that's their primary method to communicate with everybody else. So why wouldn't they want to talk to you directly off their cell phone, right? Right. So we've walked them through in 2 scenarios now, reputation and then lead management, through that future pacing. So, I'm prophesizing that, getting more customers, getting more leads. And I challenge you to try that. Pause this, go back, write it down, create a script for yourself and prove it to yourself and see how well it works. You can do this on a slide deck. You can set this up. It doesn't really matter. You can use it for a webinar, one-to-one sales demo, or in person if you want. And if you're not 100% comfortable yet, I recommend that you do it online. So you can just read the script, right? You can read it right off and have little memos, or just have it right there on a piece of paper that you can write as you go through it, and you will become more comfortable. So let's talk about a timeline pattern. This is a statement that presumes the natural progression of things. From the beginning of this book, I've used a timeline pattern to set up your entire experience. Now, if I were to give a presentation to a local business owner, here's an example of how I would use a timeline pattern of before, during, and after, implementing your confidence to close. Now, before I start, you may only know part of what we do, and during the course of our conversation, you'll see a clear path to quickly increasing the number of new leads your business can generate daily. And afterwards, you'll know exactly how to apply this to your business and really grow, potentially doubling your business in the current months. Now, I use the words before, during, and after in one long sentence to set up the time pattern. Before, you knew it existed. During, you got excited about the benefits. And afterwards, all these great things are going to happen with you, because we're going to generate new leads. Another timeline pattern is first and second. As in, first we are going to do this, and second we are going to do that. In this example, I've set it up so that first we're going to cover where the customer is currently at, and then we're going to look at the potential that we can bring, or what things are needed to get them to where they want to be. So first, we're going to identify the 3 main things that your business is lacking. And then second, once we've identified those, we'll create solutions to help build your business overall. Is that okay with you? Read that statement, or listen to that statement one more time and go back. I'll reread it to you and go through. First, we are going to identify the 3 things that you believe your business is lacking. And then second, once I've identified those, we'll create solutions to help build your overall business. Is that okay with you? Read that statement again and go through a few times, and you tell I put a higher inflection on my voice and do it on yours for the "is that okay with you" portion, because it draws attention to the question and piques their interest. It's a little goldfish there, right? It gets their interest and it tags them, and it's a disruptor, right? It's a pattern interrupt. Plus, it asks for permission and clearly requires a response. Now, this tactic also includes value for the listener, so they have every reason to say yes. So who doesn't want to improve their business, right? We frame this so they have to say yes. Otherwise, why would they be in business? Who doesn't want to identify the deficiencies in their business and turn them into a positive? Now, cause, because, will, and now. Forward pacing has other great tactics like causing, which cause and effect to prophesize. This process causes potential customers to tap on your widget and enter their number right on your website and ask a question. This landing page causes prospects to watch your presentation and buy. These delays are the cause for many of your customer complaints, these delays in communication, right? The word because is almost magical because anything you say after becomes true simply because you use the word because. This is going to increase new leads and phone calls to your business because new prospects are going to see that they have an easy way to contact you on the spot via SMS or right on their mobile device. This is an excellent example of forward pacing because you are now prophesizing that there will be a rise in profitable activity because they are working with you. The whole purpose of the word will is expressing in the future tense. There are other words like might and probably, but using will means it is going to happen, and your brain processes the statement much like a promise. I will be by your side working with you until you understand it completely. I will reveal everything here near the end of the presentation. I will show you how this is going to positively impact your business. See how they use the word will? I almost basically made them a promise. Now is one of those words that can be used in many ways, and I'll show you how to use it as a micro command to nudge a prospect towards agreeing with your timeline. Some variations of effective lines with the embedded now micro command include the words by now, you're seeing the benefits of the system and wondering what it includes. I know this makes sense for you now, so go ahead and take action. Or watch this video now. When now would be a good time to get started with Lead Engage? Or when now do you want to get started on generating new leads off your main company website? Now would be a good time to set up an appointment and talk to you about getting started. Now, issuing a challenge is yet another action inducing micro command, and beyond nudging your prospect towards a close, it also serves as a pre-qualifier for new clients and customers. But I want to go back for a second and talk about now, because as we do that, you're going to notice that as those statements that we just talked about, those are questions, and there's also an embedded micro command in the word now. These are questions that are grammatically correct? No, but conversationally, it flows naturally enough to basically pass unnoticed by most. And it works because you're asking them, when, and then you are giving them the answer that you want. Now would be a good time to set up a time to get started. When would you like to start? You're setting yourself up for success with that. And you're then going to issue a challenge, which is yet another action inducing a micro command. And it's beyond nudging your prospect towards a close. It also serves as a pre-qualifier for new clients and customers. It's a bit more aggressive, and it's definitely not for every situation, but it can work very well on large sales calls or group presentations. For me, I would use it like this. I challenge you today to make a positive difference in your business. Unless you take action right now, you're basically remaining stagnant, allowing your business to slowly die. Or I challenge you right now to make a positive difference in your business by placing our widget on your company website for the next 14 days, which in turn will generate more leads and sales. These work because you would have already spoken on the pain and not moving away from it. So this is a challenge to take action or continue to suffer as they have, or to miss out on what the leads are leaving from their site in this example. And then let's talk about closing out. Towards the end of a live presentation or a webinar or a one-on-one demo or a group, you can work at a statement that is embedded with a handful of micro commands by asking them to commit to some action that will bring change. So I would say something like this. I know with absolute certainty that if you follow the strategy in this system and start applying it to your life, you're going to start to easily notice and see how naturally it is for you to achieve results. You can frame it that way or any way you want is, this is a wonderful way to set up your forward pacing and micro commitments. So here's another one for you. So can I challenge you right now? Because I'm going to ask you to make a commitment to yourself and your business moving forward. I challenge you to try setting up our widget on your website for the next 14, 30, or 60 days and experience these amazing results for yourself and see how it works for your business. Ask them to make a commitment to their business with a short-term contract. That timeline is their short-term contract, 14, 30, 60 days. When they start implementing and achieving great results, it will become a habit pattern that they will want to keep. They'll have fear of missing out. They don't want to lose that, right? Plus, you'll know if they're willing to work with you because you've seen them take action in their business, right? I'm going to ask you to make a commitment to yourself and go to the back of the room and see me there, or go to the web address that I provided if you truly desire to take your business and life to the next level and make a positive change in how you're dealing with new leads that are coming off your website, and a positive change in generating new hot leads for your business. And you're asking them to make a commitment to their business or life, their family, and to take action to move towards success by getting them to get up, go to a website, go to the next thing. That helps you close out. Now, in summary, using micro commitments to effectively future pace your presentations and pitches by prophesizing the bright future that awaits once they start with you or your program is a way to close deals. It's going to give you that confidence. The statements I used as examples are ones I change and adapt on a regular basis. You've probably seen them on some of my sales calls, some of my webinars, and depending on my audience, and you'll easily be able to customize them for your own purposes because your audience is going to change. Whether you're doing in person or on a webinar, you have one person or if you have 20, you have the ability to change those and use this to your advantage if you're truly helping them. Now, obviously, you can't close 100% of prospects 100% of the time. There will always be some objection or it won't be the right time. But this process gets you moving down the correct prospects towards that positive action, helps you weed out the bad ones early. And now that you've enlightened them, they want, they need, and they desire to take action. And at the same time, you set yourself up for that auto close situation, which we're going to be talking about here in the next segment.